Hey guys, this is Chris X, and welcome to this video, and welcome to another rendition of Praise Appraisal, where I determine if something is worth the praise or not worth the craze. Today we're looking at Pokemon Sword and Shield, which had quite a bit of controversy. Not very much of an equal payoff. Pokemon has been a massive juggernaut for Nintendo, having extra stuff such as an ongoing anime, a trading card game, tons of merchandise, to the point that it's no wonder that Game Freak wouldn't be allowed to delay the game, resulting in them cutting various Pokemon from the game to reduce the workload and make sure the game is the best it could be. Surprisingly, a very loud minority got angry about this, having spread a lot of misinformation out of pure spite, harassed the devs, threw death threats towards Joe Merrick, who, by the way, runs the Pokemon info site Cerebi.net, which is a very good info site, by the way. You're doing a great job, Joe. And have said the game they never played sucks because of how one single tree texture looks. You know, I'd say that they shouldn't quit their day job, but I don't think they have a day job to quit to begin with. Not to mention that the game was leaked by streamers who blatantly used cheat codes, were finding issues with the game that, as it turns out, were caused by the cheats they were using. Okay, first of all, how are you using cheats on a game that hadn't even been released at the time? I mean, obviously you did it through modding, but like, the game wasn't even out, and yet somehow there were already cheats? You even broke the embargo at that. And second, the game was made to be new player friendly and easier. Why would you feel the need to use cheats on a game that was likely as easy as to platinum trophy the game 1000 top rated? Or even like Metagal, which you can platinum in one level. You made an anthill look like Mount Everest. Multiple times at that. Despite the controversy though, they were proven once and for all to be an incredibly loud minority, like I said earlier, when Pokemon Sword and Shield sold 6 million copies in less than a week, breaking the original fast-selling record of Gold and Silver's 1.4 million units, while also becoming the fastest-selling Switch game to date. Take that, Dixit elitists! Though, if I had to both sides this, which I don't like doing in all cases actually, we have seen games in the past sell well despite not being very good, so does the game deserve the records it broke? Well, we're here to find out. This is Pokemon Sword and Shield, specifically the Shield version. Look, Melanie's hot, okay? So, just to be clear, the game doesn't outright ask what gender you are, but rather your preferred appearance. Honestly, this is a nice step in the right direction. Too bad the clothing and hair options don't match with it. I want to wear a prissy dress, Nintendo! As for how the game actually begins, it's quite a change of pace, with the chairman of the Pokemon League and Galar doing the introduction usually reserved for the professor. It also turns out that you don't move into the new region like 4 of the past 7 gens we've had, so that's a nice fresh change of pace. We immediately meet our rival Hop, who's been the target of conspiracy that he's a clone of some Malolan guy, I don't know. Oh, the champion's his brother? Huh. The champion is also undefeated since he first challenged the league at 10 years old, thanks to his Charizard specifically, and I just blame how much people chose Charmander over the other starters for his push. Then again, the Pikachu family has had countless different variations, so what the hell do I know? Leon the champion gets us our 3 starter choices, with a cutscene that helps flesh them out a bit. I chose Scorbunny because they just appealed best to me. Damn it, we really have learned nothing from Charizard, huh? By the way, the starter that is left out goes as the champion and eventually shows up in your inevitable battle with Leon, and that's a nice touch. In fact, a lot of the story characters get pretty fleshed out in this game, from Sonya to even Hop, to even a few rivals that I'll get to when I get to it. The gameplay is what you'd expect from a Pokemon game, with the core mechanics being turn-based battles with creatures you can catch and have do your bidding, no wonder this has been the target for PETA, with various types of Pokemon coming into play from Grass and Fairy to Fire and Poison. However, this entry kinda meshed in some things from the Let's Go games of all things. For starters, there are overworld Pokemon that you can fight, most of which chase after you in a rather frightening fashion, but the thing is, there are Pokemon exclusive to the grass and don't appear in the overworld, making it a bit harder to find one when you keep bumping into overworld Pokemon. It's a bit of a mixed bag, admittedly. Next up, you can actually play this game with a single Joy-Con. Why would we do this now? But probably the biggest change is that there is no longer an experience share item as an optional means to grow your Pokemon. The experience is automatically shared among every party member unless they are fainted. I'm personally alright with this, as this mechanic made the games far less of a grind, especially compared to the first gen games, most notably Yellow. As I mentioned before, you can't just wear whatever you want, that is, in terms of options of the other genders, but the options available were at least great, even if it took me the entire game to remember to buy that Arcanine shirt. Not to mention I even got to get long hair. Sort of. Look, I know it can be hard to manage at times, but the fabulousness is worth having it as long as mine, darling. In addition, while gyms have come back, HMs have not, with Fly being replaced by a taxi service, and get this, Surf is replaced by the bike. Yes, the bike is back after being absent from Gen 7, and I couldn't be happier. Plus, using the bike to surf, which you don't get right away by the way, is such a seamless transition as you just get on the bike and dive right in. This is just awesome, and I love it. I am loving this game so far. You know what I don't love, though? The fact that this 3DS case that I bought from work apparently doesn't even get to play Game Boy games. Like, it would be such a big moneymaker. How could you pass that opportunity up aside from legal issues? But hey, I'm sure Nintendo would work around with it. It even got working pushable buttons. And this was made in 2019, by the way, when the 3DS was already done for. Okay, in actuality, I have some criticisms about Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing respectively. First off, Dynamaxing is the special mechanic for this gen, like Mega Evolution and Z-moves before it, both of which are cut from the game, but whatever. You basically grow your Pokemon to giant sizes and it lasts for 3 turns, being able to do ultra-powerful variants of your current attacks as well. After those 3 turns, or if the Pokemon faints, the Pokemon is brought back to normal size and you can't Dynamax for the rest of the battle. My main criticism about Dynamaxing is that you're limited to where you can Dynamax. As it turns out, you can only do it in places called Power Spots, which are primarily located in 7 of the 8 gyms and a select few story battles. Alternatively though, you can do max raid battles and Dynamax in those battles, and attempt to catch an already ginormous Pokemon in said battle with the help of other trainers. Just remember to connect to the internet when you do, because I didn't and I just thought the servers were broken or something. I mean, it can't be on my end though, I only got... $18 different devices connected to the same router wirelessly all at once. Now, Gigantamaxing is an especially selective mechanic, as only select Pokemon can do it, much like Mega Evolution and some Z moves being exclusive to certain Pokemon. However, unlike those, you can't just catch a Choodle, evolve it into Dreadnought, and then Gigantamax automatically. Nope. You have to actually fight one in a max raid battle, and it has to be in the Gigantamax form. And while it's not as bad RNG as Gen 7's Ultra Wormhole shtick, it's still bull, especially with Gigantamax Pokemon being the rarest types you can find in the max raid battles. Hell, some are set to be time exclusive, which is even dumber in my honest opinion. Not to mention that there is a chance you will fail. At the end of the battle, you end up throwing a Pokeball at them, and you have to pray that it stays in there, because if it gets out of the Pokeball, that's it. It's gone for good until the next time you likely run into it. So where do we have these max raid battles anyway? Oh, I know! No, that wasn't it. As it turns out, these battles are done in the wild area, the only place where you can actually control the camera. It took us 24 years, but we finally got some camera control. Not a bad progression, if I may say so myself. Honestly, the wild area also showcases just how pretty the game can be, with the environment just being so nice to look at, in addition to a select few areas later on in the game. Hell, I admittedly spent most of my time in the wild area hoping to find new Pokemon and such, but I had to progress through the game for a few reasons, such as the new badge limit of preventing you from catching high-level Pokemon due to the nature of said wild area, and also because it turns out that you get rarer and better max raid battles as you progress throughout the game. However, I spent too much time in the story and basically found out how much harder max raid battles can get, with the opposing Pokemon being able to attack multiple times in one turn, up to at least 3, and even putting up a shield, and nullifying abilities and stat changes. I'm fine with the later two, but the multiple attacks per turn is just a load of bullcrap if anything. By the way, I wasn't kidding when I said Gigantamax Pokemon were rare. I only found a Gigantamax Centiskorch and a Gigantamax Butterfree, and the Butterfree was someone else's battle that I entered online. In fact, I dare say that it's about as rare as a billionaire paying his fair share of taxes. Phalanx is arguably the second best thing ever in this game, for its march alone, to the point that it's a meme now. Seriously, check out Phalanx marching on Twitter, it's pretty cool. However, it's second best only to Cramorant, whose ability allows them to pick up either a Pokemon named Arrokuda or even a Pikachu after using Surf or Dive, and then, when hit with a move, hawk them at the opponent Pokemon. And I just love that and love its face. I love his face, look at the derp. I want 7 of these Cramorants all in my place. Okay, maybe not 7 of them. Honestly, I think that's all the time I really have to say about Pokemon Sword and Shield. So, how much praise do I think this is worth? In all seriousness, it's actually astonishing how blind people can be when it comes to Pokemon being cut from the game, because my god, there is a lot in here that makes up for it. It's especially sad because Game Freak clearly put their all into this, and it shows. These games are amazing, the characters likable, the new Pokemon are great, the regional variants are a good topic of sorts, the music is amazing, just so much about these games that it helps stand out as a good product. Whether you're a casual fan, a hardcore fan, somewhere in the middle, or not even a fan at all, this game is good and has a little something for everyone to enjoy. And now I'd like to end things off by reading a few Pokedex entries, shall we? Its mighty legs are capable of running at speeds exceeding 40 miles per hour, but it can't breathe unless it's underwater. Stop playing God games!